Chairman suggests perhaps Portishead may want to think the unthinkable in terms of resolving the running sore we have here in Portishead of our inability to find a site for a skate park. When this was last raised and the issue of the lake grounds was considered, it was on a piece of land which was quite prominent and had been allocated for little ones to play in within a dog-proof area. And
that's not true.
the issue was that we felt, quite apart from perhaps the mechanics of actually siting it on that land which is made up, that was not an appropriate location. And there didn't appear to be anywhere else within the lake grounds where it could actually be located. An area which we certainly did not consider, because it was then considered to be a viable concession, was the pitch and putt course. Now, members will know, I'm sure Mr. Stiff will be able to advise you that out of the landfill, golfing these days is not viable. And clearly, that piece of land is now being maintained, but it is not being used. And I would like members just to think about whether they would like to ask North Somerset if they would like to licence an area of that land to the Town Council for the purposes of locating a skate park. And I think what we could offer them in return for a licence to do that is some contribution to the maintenance of that area in terms of finance. And I'm sure we could offer them at least the equivalent of what they could gain from a concession. And I've looked and I've seen that it's not certainly not being used, although I suspect that now I've raised it, suddenly it will be a very valuable concession. But I do think, Chairman, that we should at least think about this.
It was considered, Mr. Terry.
It would be, I think we would be able, to relocate from Merlin Park, which, while we've kept a modest facility there and the youngsters have enjoyed it, it's way out of the area where they actually want to be. And I think there are some issues there in Merlin Park anyway. So I think we could actually...
You're misleading people, Mr. Terry.
Mrs. Hennessy, please.
Can you not just tell the facts, Councillor Cllr? We can't have this. The pitch and putt was considered.
Sorry, Mrs. Hennessy, please, you must not interrupt. And if you feel so strongly, which I can empathise with, then, and you cannot be quiet, then you will need to leave.
Well, I'm not going to, but I'm not going to stand for Councillor Terry not giving the truth.
No,
it's ridiculous.
You cannot interrupt. It's that simple. Okay.
Chairman, I was present at the meeting when this was discussed with district councillors, with the leader of council, and I can assure you that the information I've given you about which site was considered on the lake grounds is accurate. It is not lies. I'm persistently being told that I tell lies, and I do not tell lies. Quite frankly, Madam Chairman, I am putting this forward as a reasonable proposal for people to think about. The land next to the tennis courts, I believe, would make a suitable location for a skate park. And all I'm doing is asking people to think about it, consider it. Now the issue I do appreciate Councillor Cruz has suddenly put her hand up and said there are issues with Merlin Park.
There aren't issues with Merlin Park, that's the point.
There are, as I understand it, some issues with young people who are not necessarily skateboarders there, and using that area for inappropriate use. But they are not skateboarders, and I'm not accusing the skateboarders of and Chairman, I do think that we are going to reach a point where Mayor, we're going to have to address this issue seriously. I'm asking people to address it seriously, to think about it seriously. It may be that for various reasons it's a non-starter, but I think at least it should be considered and people should go away and think about it and come back with their thoughts. And I just hope it will be given a reasonable opportunity to be considered.
Can I just, as a point of